Revenge films.
I've been married to my husband for 2 years, and we live close to my in-laws. My in-laws adore my husband's ex-girlfriend. Whenever we had a get-together, they would always bring her up. They would laugh and talk about how beautiful she is and how ugly I am. Typically, any husband would get angry if their wife was insulted, but my husband was different. He would listen and laugh with his family when they were making fun of me, and sometimes even agree with them. That's why I hated having get-togethers with my in-laws. At first, I told my husband, I don't want to go. I've got things to do, and found some excuses so I didn't have to go. But he would say,
Isn't it weird not to show up when there's a get-together at my parents' home? You should be grateful that we're not living with them.
So it didn't work at all. Then I told him, I don't like your family comparing me with your ex-girlfriend. However, my husband misunderstood me and said,
Why? Are you jealous because you'll never be on her level? Is that why you're acting up? It's understandable, I guess. She's beautiful, and you can never be as good no matter how hard you try.
And he would just ignore anything I said. Because it was about my face, I couldn't talk to my parents because they would be shocked. Any parents will be angry if their daughter is called ugly, compared with ex-girlfriends, or laughed at after marriage. Since I couldn't talk to my parents, I asked my friends for help. My friends all said the same thing.
Divorce this bastard already. How could his family talk about his ex-girlfriend at the gatherings? That's a nightmare. And your husband even joins them too? You better get a divorce right away.
To be honest, what my friends said made sense to me. Soon, another family get-together was here. Even though I kept telling my husband I didn't want to go, he ignored my feelings as always and said,
Aren't you my wife? Can't you act like my wife for once?
I snapped after he said that. What he meant by act like my wife was to continue being ridiculed by his family. But I couldn't live like this anymore. I made a decision and went to my in-laws' house. As soon as we arrived, my mother-in-law quickly insulted me by saying, As usual, the way you dress is so lame. Don't you have anything better to wear? My son's ex-girlfriend always looks so fashionable. My husband added,
I know, right? She has such bad taste. I feel embarrassed to walk next to her.
My husband bought me that outfit. After I told him I wanted new clothes, he came back home with some discounted clothes from the supermarket. I was irritated enough at this point. Then my sister-in-law accidentally dropped a picture of my husband and his ex-girlfriend in front of me and said,
Oops, my bad. Can you pick that up? It's important.
My sister-in-law was smirking while I picked up the photo. The ex-girlfriend in the photo looks as pretty as a model. I would probably also brag about how cute she is. Still, it's unacceptable for them to insult me for this reason. After that, my husband's family continued to diss me. Everyone was so excited talking about the ex-girlfriend at the dinner table. They wouldn't stop praising her while criticizing and laughing at me. As usual, my husband didn't bother protecting me at all. He had such a fun time laughing along with his family. He said,
My ex is really cute. When I introduced her to other people, everyone was so jealous.
Do you really have to say that in front of me? I'm sorry I'm not a desirable wife.
Yeah, that's true. Even my friends were envious of me for being your sister when you were with your ex. I was so proud. I wish your ex-girlfriend was your wife. Why did you break up with her? How about you divorce Kaden and marry your ex-girlfriend?
The whole family laughed out loud. I don't know why my husband and his ex-girlfriend broke up, but I guess it was my husband who got dumped because his ex-girlfriend was too beautiful for him. I wondered how long his family would cling to their past glory. At the same time, my feelings towards my husband only grew colder.
You're right. I don't know why we broke up. I shouldn't have broken up with her at all.
Again, the whole family burst with laughter. I placed some papers on the table without saying anything. Their jaws dropped when they saw the papers. His mother started to stutter when she spoke. What does this mean? I replied, Oh, have you never seen this? It's divorce papers. I felt it was the perfect timing for this since you were discussing divorce. Can you please sign it? I passed a pen to my husband. My husband couldn't keep up with the situation and kept looking back and forth between my face and the pen he was holding. My mother-in-law said,
No, we were just joking, Karin. Don't take it seriously.
I replied with a straight face, You think I'd believe that after listening to all of you praising the ex-girlfriend so much? It's not good for my mental health if things go on like this. So I'm getting a divorce. I don't need or want a husband who laughs when his whole family is criticizing me. Do you get it? It was my first time arguing back, so everyone looked terrified. My husband didn't want a divorce, so he said,
Sorry, it was just a joke, and it got out of hand, okay?
Just a joke? I see. To you, it was all just a joke.
I can explain.
Just as your parents said, it's such a pity that you couldn't marry your ex-girlfriend. How about I divorce you and you ask her to marry you instead? See if she cares about you. My husband was at a loss for words, so I turned to my mother-in-law and said, When they get married, make sure to tell her that your son got divorced because his ex-wife was compared to her so much that the ex-wife couldn't bear it. My mother-in-law's face turned pale instantly. Oh, and I'm sorry for being such a terrible sister-in-law to you, but don't worry, you'll never see my face again. My sister-in-law just stared at the floor while mumbling something.
How about we all calm down for a second? What do you say?
Yeah, we can talk it out.
They have been insulting me all this time, so I didn't understand why they were trying to comfort me after I said I wanted a divorce. Everyone tried to convince me to stay, but I left their house right away. My husband didn't sign the divorce papers in the end. Now we live in separate rooms at home. I stopped doing anything for him. I cook for myself, do my laundry, and pretend my husband doesn't exist. He would occasionally check up on me and ask,
Do you want to watch a movie together?
But I still treat him as if he doesn't exist. Because I stopped doing housework for my husband, he always buys food from the convenience store. He either has to do his own laundry or take it to the dry cleaner, which costs him money. If my husband looks like he wants to say something, I'd always ask him, What, finally made up your mind to sign the papers? Then he'd always reply,
No, nothing.
And then runs away. I also have no intentions of keeping ties with his family. Whenever my mother-in-law says,
It was all a joke. You won't divorce my son, right?
I always burst out laughing after hearing that. I'm studying to get my qualification so I can divorce my husband anytime. I'm ready to live independently. Until now, whenever my husband and his family talked about his ex-girlfriend, I always laughed it off in front of them, but cried when I was alone. But now, it's time for my husband to cry. Even if he wants to complain about me not doing any housework, he can't. If he does, I will divorce him. He criticized me so much that he should have just signed the divorce papers. But for some reason, something inside of him awakened when he looked at the divorce papers. One day, he said to me,
Give me another chance. I'll do better and be a good husband.
It's too late for that. But whatever. His ex-girlfriend broke up with him because she changed her mind. Maybe, he thought,
I'm amazing because I had a cute ex-girlfriend, and then I married you. Be happy about it and respect me.
I guess that's why he disrespected and insulted me after we married. But I wouldn't be taking care of him if he'd filed for divorce. I'm curious to see when he'll finally give up and sign the papers. If he ever objects to me even once, I'll divorce him happily.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.